Bill Weld made it very, very clear that he is looking to downsize government.
Arvin Vohra has been the vice chair of the Libertarian National Committee for more than 3 years. He says although the Libertarian U.S. presidential ticket of Gary Johnson and Bill Weld didn't do well in the 2016 election, the Libertarian Party is continuing to move forward.
I've been a Libertarian since I was about 14.
Vohra described himself as an educator. He says he thoroughly examined all of the political parties before joining the Libertarian Party.
I wanted to see less government. I saw two parties that both seemed dead set on growing government, and I wanted a party that was there to get the government out of education. I wanted a party that was going to reduce military overreach. I wanted a party that was going to cut taxes and cut spending. I wanted a party that was going to stay out of our private lives, and that's what the Libertarian Party does.
He explained the Libertarian Party is based on citizens' wants and desires rather than bureaucratic control.
Liberal-leaning people often make fun of conservatives and Republicans for trying to manipulate people's irrational fears of gay marriage as political leverage.
We believe that no one should be forced to pay for anything that they don't want to be forced to pay for. We believe that no one should be forced to do anything that they don't want to do, or stop from doing anything that they want to do, as long as they're not hurting anybody. Libertarians believe in ending the drug war. We believe in ending involvement in foreign civil wars. We believe in ending any government involvement or funding in education of any kind. So we believe in pulling government out of everything where we don't think government needs to be.
As I listened to Vohra, I couldn't help but to notice his definition of liberalism was identical to the platform Donald Trump used while campaigning for president.
In some ways, Trump tried to pay lip service to libertarian ideas, but you'll notice that he never actually put any specific policy proposals that were in any significant way libertarian. If you look at Trump's tax plan, he calls it a tax cut. We call it the same amount of taxes. The government spending is the exact same that it was before. To us, a tax cut means a major spending cut. That's why libertarians believe in cutting spending to 1998 levels or below, and then abolishing the income tax completely. We don't need an income tax to function in this country.
He says libertarians want deeper cuts, which includes expelling some major federal agencies.
For example, if you look at most of the federal departments, we believe in getting rid of all or almost all of them, depending on which libertarian you ask. Things like the FDA, things like the Department of Health and Human Services, things like many libertarians are very passionate about getting the Fed out of the money supply. Things about ending government schooling entirely. So if you think about scaling back what the government does, you end up having to pay a lot less for it. We're not trying to find different ways to fund the current style of government. We are trying to have the government do less than it's doing so that individuals can do more.
Just a few hours before my interview with Vohra, and in less than 30 miles away, retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn entered a U.S. District Courthouse to plead guilty to lying to the FBI during a Russian investigation. According to the vice chairman of the Libertarian Party committee, America should have never been involved in Russian politics. They believe in liberty and justice for all in America.
This is exactly why libertarians believe that government should be very, very small. Because we don't believe that people are all good and perfect. We believe that people are fallible and sometimes people are just downright evil. And we don't want any person to have so much power that they can really do such terrible things on a large scale. I was surprised about the specific plea. I didn't think he was going to plead guilty, but the idea that government is corrupt doesn't surprise me at all. The idea that there's high corruption going on in government, not at all surprising. Since Snowden, I think most people have realized that the government is officially doing things that are corrupt and inexcusable.
I had 2 in-person meetings and 1 phone call with the White House counsel about Mr. Flynn.
There's no denying the United States government had its fair share of internal investigations. It was during a Senate hearing when former U.S. Acting Attorney Sally Yates talked about General Flynn's involvement with Russia.
Well, sure, I was concerned about it, but I didn't know if perhaps something else had been done that maybe I just wasn't aware of.
Maybe that they were keeping him away from certain classified information while they were investigating, something like that.
Maybe. I just didn't have any way of knowing what was going on at that point.
Were you aware that he sat in on even from media reports, that he sat in on a phone call with Russia's president?
Just from media
Between
reports.
the president and Russia's president. Did you find that surprising?
Well, sure. Absolutely, that was surprising.
Government has gotten so big and so influential, so involved in foreign civil wars, so involved in everything that it doesn't belong in, that now you even have, supposedly Russians trying to buy influence. Russia shouldn't care what's happening inside of America.
Stay with us as we continue with our look into the Libertarian Party. In Bethesda, Maryland, Elaine Rackley for Breaking Through News. Elaine Rackley for Breaking Through News.